Ultra Ego Vegeta and God of Destruction Toppo were two of the most memorable transformations from each of their respective arcs. However, I've always thought that it would have made far more sense for Vegeta to have unlocked Ultra Ego against Toppo instead of just using Blue Evolution to win the battle. And in today's video, I want to explore this very topic and see what would have happened if Prince Vegeta unlocked Ultra Ego during his fight against Toppo, the God of Destruction of the Tournament of Power. Our story begins just as God of Destruction Toppo hits Vegeta with a flurry of energy attacks, sending Vegeta flying through mountains of rubble and rock. As Vegeta hits the ground behind him, Toppo would lecture Vegeta about how his Saiyan pride and sense of justice mean nothing if his own universe can't survive from it, and that Vegeta can never hope to beat Toppo the way he is now, since Vegeta bears unnecessary emotions and mental roadblocks that hold him back from achieving the same levels of power as Toppo. However, this time, instead of Vegeta just getting a power up to his Blue Evolution form, which originally was due to Vegeta drawing further into his Saiyan pride doubling down on it, this time, as Toppo sends what he thinks will be his final attack to finish off Vegeta for good, Toppo charges a massive Hakai and launches it at the now motionless Vegeta, with the attack consuming Vegeta's entire body. However, while being consumed by the Hakai blast, Vegeta is deep in thought, not really focused on the outward situation that he's actually in. Vegeta realizes that Toppo may have actually been right about everything he was saying about Vegeta's pride, and how it was worthless in his goal of defending Universe 7 and actually winning the Tournament of Power. Vegeta had spent so long chasing after Kakarot, even going as far as to attempt achieving Ultra Instinct in his footsteps after he saw Goku use the form against Jiren, which ended in Vegeta embarrassing himself and having to pivot back to his normal fighting style. Vegeta realizes that he had completely lost sight of who he truly was, as Vegeta was the Prince of all Saiyans and the strongest Saiyan warrior to ever exist in 1,000 years, and one of the first legendary Super Saiyans to actually roam the universe. Vegeta then makes the resolve that if Toppo was willing to set aside his sense of pride and justice to do anything it took to survive, then so would Vegeta, as suddenly a deep glow emerges from Toppo's attack, and the attack that once engulfed Vegeta bursts into dust and particles after a massive explosion, as if Vegeta somehow erased Toppo's destructive energy, and in its place an explosion of purple and black energy filled the tournament arena, causing even Goku and Jiren to stop their battle and look onwards at Vegeta's new evolution and power. Emerging from the flames, Vegeta appears out of the dust and rubble with new purple hair and a fiery aura surrounding his body. Toppo is shocked, as both Beerus and Belmont simultaneously stand from their seats with their jaws dropped. At the same time, Whis states that it seems like Vegeta has been able to somehow tap into the abilities of a God of Destruction, or something very similar to what Toppo had just done earlier, even noting how impressive it is that Vegeta managed to do this even without direct training from Lord Beerus. Back on the battlefield, Toppo, while still stunned from Vegeta's sudden evolution, attempts to fire another Hakai energy attack at Vegeta. However, Vegeta backhands the attack, sending it flying into the world of Void. Belmont asks Beerus if he's been training Vegeta in secret to replace him as his new God of Destruction candidate, and while Beerus gives a confident grin implying that he has, the truth is not even Beerus has any idea how Vegeta's transformation into Destructive Ki is even possible. And as their battle continues, Vegeta lunges at Toppo, landing a massive headbutt to his forehead, before landing a violent kick that sends Toppo flying back and nearly off the edge of the arena. Vegeta mocks Toppo for believing that he truly understands what it means to be a destroyer, as Vegeta himself destroyed many in his lifetime, unlike Toppo, as Vegeta charges his own massive Hakai-like energy attack, goading Toppo into not dodging the attack and to answer it with his own. That way, they could see who is truly the strongest destroyer in the tournament. And although Toppo obliges, sending his own Hakai energy blast at Vegeta's, with Toppo having an equal size and ferocity to Vegeta's attack, Vegeta laughs maniacally as in an almost animalistic fashion, Vegeta lets out an excited battle cry, telling Toppo to give him even more, as his blast completely consumes Toppo's Hakai attack from earlier, consuming Toppo in the process, and completely eliminating him from the ring altogether. With Toppo no longer being a threat, Vegeta stands still for a brief moment, collecting himself on all the events that had just transpired, before then looking up and turning his attention towards Jiren and Goku. Goku is a little startled by meeting Vegeta's gaze, as he's never seen such a crazed and battle-hungry look in Vegeta's eyes before. However, Jiren, maintaining his confident stature, and as if not impressed nor scared by Vegeta's new powers in the slightest, Jiren launches himself away from Goku and lands inches away from Vegeta, facing him down as the two warriors look each other in the eyes. Vegeta, in a moment of supreme confidence, begins to tell Jiren how he's unlocked the powers of a destroyer and how Jiren stands absolutely no chance. However, Vegeta is interrupted as Jiren lands a punch directly to Vegeta's stomach, which visibly looks like it still does a ton of damage to Vegeta, and while Belmont jumps up in excitement, cheering Jiren on, after kneeling on the ground in pain for a few seconds, Vegeta looks at Jiren yet again, this time with an even wider grin than he had before, as Vegeta shoots back up to his feet, throwing his own punch, which catches Jiren completely off guard, hitting him directly in the face. The force of this punch pushes Jiren back a few inches in the arena as Jiren wipes his mouth, bracing himself as Vegeta then charges in at Jiren once more. However, after collecting himself, Jiren lands blow after blow on Vegeta, successfully blocking every attempt that Vegeta makes at striking his body, making the fight appear like it is completely one-sided. However, just like before, after the pain momentarily stuns Vegeta, he then re-emerges in the battle with even more power than he had before, and at least from what everyone else could tell from watching the battle, Vegeta was even getting stronger with every attack that he threw, and maybe even the ones that he took from Jiren as well. It's also a good time to note that while when Ultra Ego first appeared in the manga in the Gas and Granola arc, Ultra Ego Vegeta was mastered Ultra Instinct level. Since Vegeta just got the form without having been through any of his training with Beerus or the Yard Rats, Ultra Ego Vegeta is just about comparable to Ultra Instinct Saiyan Goku at best, and won't be mastered Ultra Instinct level until later in the story. However, as good as Vegeta is now, eventually Jiren increases his powers significantly, landing blows on Vegeta's body in such rapid succession that Vegeta's body eventually gives out and Vegeta loses his Ultra Ego form. However, just before Vegeta can get eliminated by Jiren, Goku jumps back into the battle, knocking Vegeta away, and the entire rest of the Tournament of Power goes exactly the same from here, with Goku unlocking his mastered Ultra Instinct and Jiren being eliminated by Goku and Frieza, making Android 17 the winner of the first Universal Tournament of Power. And after the Tournament of Power and the victory of Universe 7, on Beerus' planet, the God of Destruction reflects on Vegeta's new God of Destruction power-up, as he remembers what the Oracle Fish had said about Goku and Vegeta one day becoming his rivals, with Goku now having his angelic mastered Ultra Instinct, and Vegeta now having his own new mysterious destroyer transformation as well. The two Saiyans were now brandishing true God forms and techniques, and they had grown far beyond just Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, which were just cheap imitations of true God powers, masked behind their normal Super Saiyan abilities. Sometime after in space, as Frieza gathers the Dragon Balls for his wish, Broly is discovered on planet Vampa, and thanks to Broly having an exceptionally high battle power, Broly is brought before Frieza, and Frieza is delighted to discover that not only is Broly a Saiyan with an extremely high battle power, but also Paragus and Broly seem to be completely oblivious to planet Vegeta's destruction and still show complete loyalty to Emperor Frieza, even despising King Vegeta for exiling the two Saiyans from the Saiyan race due to Broly's abnormally high power level. Frieza prepares Paragus for how they'll use Broly to fight Goku and Vegeta as the Frieza Force descends down to Earth after collecting all 7 Dragon Balls. As the Frieza Force and the Z Fighters meet up in the cold mountains of the Arctic Hemisphere, Paragus commands Broly to attack as he lunges at Vegeta, fighting with base Vegeta at first, as Vegeta would still eventually eventually fight Broly as a Super Saiyan and then a Super Saiyan God like he did originally, which of course leads to Goku fighting Broly. However, after Goku and Broly stalemate, as Goku is pushed to having to use his Super Saiyan Blue transformation, Frieza seeks to push Broly's powers even further beyond his previous limits, and Frieza knows just how to do it from his own personal experience. As Frieza blasts Paragus with the Death Beam and calling out Broly's name, Broly witnesses the death of his father, which sends him into a spiraling rage. And as Broly turns Super Saiyan, lunging at Goku yet again, Vegeta regroups with Goku to come up with a new strategy to win the battle. As Broly charges near, however, this time, as Goku powers up to his Super Saiyan Blue, Vegeta's aura goes from blue to a much darker purple as he taps into his Ultra Ego for the first time since the Tournament of Power. Ultra Ego and its mindset was a lot easier to grasp for Vegeta than Mastered Ultra Instinct is for Goku, so I'm gonna say that Vegeta can use this form at will. Vegeta lunges at Broly, landing several punches, and his power is evening out with the enraged Super Saiyan Broly. Vegeta, no longer having to hold back like he did in the Tournament of Power due to the no-kill rule, is able to attack Broly, hitting him with strikes that are much more ferocious and far more effective against Broly than they were with Jiren, damaging the Saiyan quite significantly as they battle. Broly continues to get even stronger, but so does Vegeta, and with the aid of Goku stepping in, despite Vegeta telling Goku to stay out of it, Broly is finally pushed to the peak of his power, as he charges an attack from his mouth, and Goku and Vegeta charge up their own attacks in response to Broly's, with Goku pushing the Kaioken x 20 Super Saiyan Blue, and Vegeta using his Ultra Ego. Once their blast collides with Broly, they are able to eventually overtake Broly's attack with extreme difficulty. However, just before Broly can be annihilated, Shenron is summoned and Broly is teleported back to his home planet, Vampa. I don't really think fusion would be necessary here, as with Vegeta's Ultra Ego and Goku's Kaioken x 20, scaling possibly above Ultra Instinct Sign Goku when he first appears in the Tournament of Power, they should be able to just barely scrape by without needing Gogeta. And after the events on Earth are said and done and Frieza leaves the planet, time passes as the Moro and Galactic Patrol arc finally begins. Not much would change in the beginning aside from the fact that maybe Vegeta uses Ultra Ego against Moro when they first meet. However, due to a lack of understanding with Moro's abilities and how his magic truly works, Vegeta would still lose the same way he did before. However, things changed dramatically after the training with the Yard Rats, as Vegeta's powers would grow exponentially, as instead of using perfected Super Saiyan Blue, which after his training in the original manga is implied to put Vegeta above Ultra Instinct Sign Goku, Vegeta's training would boost his powers to the point where his Ultra Ego would now be on par with Goku's mastered Ultra Instinct technique. Combining this power with Force Spirit Fission, Vegeta would be an absolute beast in his rematch with Moro. As they engage, Vegeta would be far better against Moro than he ever was before, as Moro would actually start to panic as Vegeta completely dominates the battle. However, in a moment of desperation, Moro would still use his magic to evade Vegeta momentarily, just narrowly escaping death by mere seconds as he absorbed 7-3. And Moro receives a massive power boost from absorbing this android. However, like we said before, Ultra Ego Vegeta is now mastered Ultra Instinct level, so Moro here is still in trouble, despite fighting a lot better against Vegeta. However, much like Android 20 did to Piccolo back in the Android saga, Moro sidesteps one of Vegeta's attacks as he wraps his arms and legs around Vegeta, locking him in place, and with touching Vegeta with his palm, he absorbs all of his powers, much to the shock of everybody else watching the battle. Moro's body begins to glow a dark purple as he charges his destructive energy blast, jamming it into Vegeta's stomach with his fists, sending Vegeta flying back and out of his Ultra Ego. As Moro powers up and threatens to erase everybody after absorbing the entire planet and then the entire universe, Beerus, observing the battle from a distance, has heard enough as he flies in to take down Moro once and for all, putting the fate of the universe into his own hands, as Moro has gotten far too powerful after wielding the abilities of a destroyer, and the threat of Moro to Universe 7 couldn't go unchecked any longer. Stepping up to Moro, Moro is visibly shaken seeing the god of destruction of Universe 7 stepping up against him, as Beerus states that he'll make this quick as a fiery purple aura surrounds Beerus' entire body. And while lifting a single finger, Beerus immediately teleports in front of Moro, flicking Moro's forehead with such force that it nearly blows back the rest of the Z fighters. This cracks the gem on Moro's head, causing Moro to become extremely angered by Beerus' attack. And charging up to full power, Moro delves deep into Vegeta's destructive abilities, launching dozens of destruction-charged attacks at Beerus at an extremely fast rate. Beerus, however, powers up himself, creating a massive ki flame around his body as he charges headfirst into Moro's attacks, with the blast only resisting Beerus for mere seconds, as the attacks begin to disintegrate as Beerus closing in more ground between him and Moro. After landing a punch to Moro's stomach, Moro is sent stumbling back, as Beerus then lands a powerful kick, to which after Moro recovers, Beerus moves behind Moro with such speed that the others aren't even able to register his movements, and with a swift chop to Moro's neck, Moro is sent tumbling to the ground on his hands and knees, drooling from anger and pain after his humiliating defeat against Beerus. Beerus extends his palm, ready to put an end to Moro once and for all. However, Goku, having recovered, begs to spare Moro's life as Moro could be returned to the galactic prison. Beerus then turns his palm towards Goku, shocking all the other Z fighters, as he tells Goku that perhaps he's been far too lenient with the Saiyan, and that he should remember his place and not interfere with Beerus' work as a god of destruction. However, Goku continues to plead, promising that he'll be able to defeat Moro if he ever became trouble again, to which Beerus thinks about this, agreeing with Goku's proposal as he powers down himself. From a distance, Mira screams out at Beerus letting Moro live, as he charges in using his angelic powers to end things quickly. Beerus' body begins to disintegrate as he lands one final attack on Moro, almost completely knocking out the Warlock for good, as he gives Goku his final speech, which in turn will lead Goku to unlocking his mastered Ultra Instinct, and from here pretty much everything happens the same, as even when Moro merges with the Earth, although Vegeta has Ultra Ego, he cannot erase Moro, as that would risk the entire planet being destroyed along with him, causing the Z Fighters to go with the Spirit Bomb from Goku instead. After Moro is defeated by Goku, back on Beerus' planet, Vegeta watches Goku using Mastered Ultra Instinct to train with Whis, questioning Beerus about whether or not Whis was using Ultra Instinct at all times. Beerus disagrees, explaining that Whis was always in a natural state of instinct. However, he would bring up the fact that the angels' powers were not the only powerful techniques of the gods, only the preferred techniques of the angels. However, this time there would be no need for Beerus to demonstrate destructive energy to Vegeta, as he calls out that Vegeta is already tapped into this destructive power himself. He just doesn't know how to use it properly to use it to its maximum potential. Vegeta inquires about what Beerus means, and Beerus explains that while Vegeta has grasped the basic concept of destructive energy, allowing him to tap into the same power reserves as Beerus, Beerus would explain that Vegeta still requires damage to fuel his strength, and that very same damage also acts against Vegeta, causing his body to give out before he can even finish any of his fights. Vegeta's powers were not truly limitless like Beerus's. He was only merely imitating the powers of a god of destruction, but Vegeta's flaw was that he truly wasn't internalizing this power, much like how he perfected Super Saiyan Blue when he absorbed its ki into himself, eliminating the stamina drain that the Super Saiyan Blue form used to have. Beerus would give Vegeta the same lecture that Whis gave Goku, and that being that if Vegeta truly wished to wield true destruction energy, he needed to stop merely imitating the mindset that Toppo had, or the mindset that he thinks a god of destruction should have, and he needs to find motivation within himself and adapt everything that he's learned into a way that he can make it his own. And during the Granola arc, just as Goku unlocks his true Ultra Instinct, which looks like his base form with silvery eyes, Vegeta, reawakening his Saiyan pride and understanding more of who he was truly meant to be in his destiny, is able to unlock his own version of true Ultra Ego, where Vegeta no longer requires damage to grow stronger, and Vegeta's powers and abilities that he's able to wield are significantly increased, with his hair now turning black and his eyes turning yellow with his new true Ultra Ego form. And I would even go as far as to say that true Ultra Instinct Goku and true Ultra Ego Vegeta put together may have actually defeated and or nearly killed Gas had it not been for the intervention of Frieza, as he unveils his new Frieza Black transformation, still one-shotting Goku and Vegeta. However, this is where our story has to end, as currently in Super, Goku and Vegeta have been training on Beerus' planet and haven't had to face any new threats,